Willie Nelson was born on April 29, 1933, in the tiny farming town of Abbott, Texas, during one of the hardest economic periods in American history. Life there was simple, often harsh, and rarely forgiving. When Willie was still an infant, his parents left him and his sister Bobby behind. Their grandparents, Alfred and Nancy Nelson, stepped in to raise them with faith, discipline, and music. Church hymns became a big part of Willie's childhood, and it was his grandmother who first placed a guitar in his hands when he was 6. That moment quietly changed the direction of his life. Music became more than entertainment. It became a companion and a way to understand the world around him. The quiet fields, the church gatherings, and the sounds drifting from old radios all blended together to form the earliest pieces of the voice that would one day resonate across generations. Music as a lifeline. Growing up in rural Texas meant long days of hard work. Willie spent summers picking cotton and helping on farms, learning early that dignity often came from effort rather than comfort. Yet even during those exhausting days, music never drifted far from his thoughts. By the time he was 9, he was already playing guitar with local bands, and by 10, he had started writing his own songs. His notebook slowly filled with lyrics that reflected emotions beyond his years. Gospel music from church blended with country, blues, and western swing coming through the radio waves. These influences shaped his musical identity long before the world had heard his name. For Willie, music wasn't simply a hobby or dream. It was a language that allowed him to express things he couldn't easily say. In those early years, his guitar became both his voice and his sense of belonging in a world that often felt uncertain. Searching for a direction. After graduating from high school in 1950, Willie set out to find his place in the world. Like many young people leaving small towns, he carried ambition but very little direction. He briefly enlisted in the U.S. Air Force but was discharged early due to back problems. Returning to civilian life, he tried a wide variety of jobs just to get by. Selling Bibles door to door, working as a plumber's assistant, pumping gas, and even selling vacuum cleaners. None of them felt like the life he truly wanted. Through all of it, music remained constant. Willie played at small dance halls, honky-tonks, and local gatherings. He also worked as a radio disc jockey, including time in San Antonio and later in Vancouver, Washington. The pay was modest, but these experiences helped him sharpen a unique ability, connecting with listeners as if he were speaking directly to each person. The songwriter before the star. Long before Willie Nelson became famous as a performer, he was gaining quiet recognition as a songwriter. His lyrics carried a conversational honesty that stood apart from many of the polished songs of the era. While living in difficult financial circumstances, he wrote several songs that would later become classics. Among them were Funny How Time Slips Away, Hello Walls, and Crazy. When Patsy Cline recorded Crazy, the song became a major success and eventually one of the most beloved ballads in country music history. Another version of Hello Walls by Farron Young also climbed the charts. Despite these achievements, Willie himself remained mostly behind the scenes. His songs were reaching millions, yet the spotlight still belonged to other voices. It was a strange situation. He was helping shape the sound of country music without fully being recognized as one of its performers. Struggles in Nashville. In 1960, Willie moved to Nashville, Tennessee, the center of the country music industry. He arrived with determination, a guitar, and only a small amount of money. Nashville at that time favored a smooth and highly polished style, known as the Nashville sound. Producers wanted singers with precise phrasing and perfectly refined voices. Willie's relaxed, slightly behind-the-beat style didn't fit those expectations. Industry executives admired his songwriting, but were uncertain about him as a performer. They encouraged him to continue writing for other artists rather than focus on his own recordings. Though he signed recording contracts and released several albums, they did not receive the attention he hoped for. For years, he existed in a frustrating middle ground, respected for his talent, but not fully accepted as a star. Still, Willie kept writing and performing, believing that authenticity mattered more than approval. A turning point in Texas. Everything began to change in the early 1970s. After Willie returned to Austin, Texas, the city had become a lively meeting place for musicians and young audiences searching for something different. Here, long-haired college students and traditional country fans often gathered in the same venues. Willie started performing at places like the legendary Armadillo World. Headquarters. The atmosphere was relaxed and open-minded, and for the first time he felt completely free to perform the way he wanted. His natural style, simple arrangements, heartfelt singing, and honest storytelling connected deeply with audiences. This period helped inspire what became known as the outlaw country movement. Artists such as Waylon Jennings and Chris Christopherson shared the same independent spirit, and together, they helped redefine country music by returning it to its raw emotional roots. Albums that changed everything. Willie's creative freedom soon led to a remarkable series of albums. One of the most influential was Red-Headed Stranger, released in 1975. The album told a quiet but powerful story of heartbreak and redemption, built around sparse arrangements that allowed every word to breathe. Many executives initially worried that the record sounded too simple, yet listeners responded immediately to its honesty. The song Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain became Willie's first #1 hit as a singer. Another major milestone came with the compilation album Wanted, The Outlaws, which also featured Waylon Jennings and other artists. It became the first country album ever to achieve platinum certification. Suddenly, the style Nashville once rejected had become one of the most influential sounds in American music. Resilience through hard times. Success did not mean that life became easy. Like many artists who spend decades on the road, Willie faced financial and personal challenges along the way. At one point, he encountered serious tax problems that required him to reorganize his finances and work even harder to meet his responsibilities. Instead of retreating, he responded the only way he knew how, by making more music and performing for his fans. He recorded a simple album titled The IRS Tapes, Who'll Buy My Memories, and continued touring across the country. Audiences showed remarkable loyalty, attending concerts and supporting his work through difficult times. Eventually, the financial challenges were resolved, and Willie moved forward with a renewed sense of perspective. Those experiences reinforced something he had learned early in life. Possessions can disappear, but creativity and determination remain. Family, legacy, and peace. In his later years, Willie found a deeper sense of stability with his wife, Annie D'Angelo. Together, they raised their sons, including Lucas Nelson, who followed in his father's musical footsteps. Watching his children and grandchildren grow brought a quieter joy that the restless years of touring rarely allowed. Willie also continued supporting causes close to his heart, including Farm Aid, the charity concert he co-founded to support American farmers. His Texas ranch became a gathering place for family and friends, a peaceful contrast to the endless motion of earlier decades. After a lifetime of chasing music across highways and stages, he finally had a place where life slowed down enough to be appreciated. The enduring voice of honesty. Today, Willie Nelson stands as one of the most respected voices in American music. His career spans more than 70 years, hundreds of albums, and thousands of performances. Yet numbers alone cannot explain his influence. What truly defines Willie Nelson is the honesty woven into his songs. He never tried to fit perfectly into industry expectations. Instead, he trusted his instincts and told stories that felt real. That authenticity allowed listeners from many generations to see parts of their own lives reflected in his music. Whether on a large festival stage or a small theater, the moment he begins to sing, the room often grows still. In that quiet attention lies his greatest legacy, the reminder that simple truth, shared through music, can connect strangers in ways few other things can.